burning question everybody has: is Elyon pay to win? And in this video, we're talking to an experienced Elyon player, BDO Bloo, and we're going to break that down. Remember guys, every game has some sort of pay to win where you can buy your way ahead. But the important thing is, does the game paywall you, saying that unless you spend the money, you can't progress? And can an ordinary player, not spending an outrageous amount of money, compete? This video is part 4 of 4. Make sure you check out the other ones in the description down below. Before we begin, make sure you check out BDO Bloo on Twitch and YouTube. The links will be in the description down below. He has a lot of excellent content and is making a bunch of guides for Elyon to bring us up to pace before the release, so make sure you check him out. Also guys, I'm doing a giveaway for Elyon closed beta keys. If you want to enter, go down to the comment section down below, type hashtag Elyon and leave me your Discord info. 2 lucky winners are going to be selected on May 3rd. Alright, how about we address the question, how pay to win is this?
Woo! Pay to win! Well, I want to start and preface this by saying it's a Korean MMORPG, right?
Of course.
So Asian cultures, you have a lot of players that like to play games, but they have jobs and they're really busy. So
yeah,
swiping is a little bit more of a thing that you would expect in Asian MMOs. So with that being said, it has pay to win. I guess it depends on what you consider pay to win, because that can be a very big debate. But basically, at the heart of it, you can essentially convert real life money into what's called rubies. You can use the ruby store to buy various items, like various cosmetics, or your value pack, your subscription kind of thing. Or they have various things in here like the Luminous system, which is literally a gacha game. I'll go into that in a second. But you can also get things that are like, they have like various different limited, like quote unquote limited time, but they've been there for as long as I can remember kind of, or they'll be there for like months on end. So they'll give you things like this limited time gives you bonus EXP, but also allows you to do more damage. It's basically like, it's a buff in PvE, plain and simple. There's no if, answer, but
not in PvP though, right?
It does have a random attack, but I believe that only hits monsters. So it reduces the damage taken from monsters, increases your item like drop rate by 10%, 50% combat EXP, reduces damage taken from monsters by 30%, health recovery by 20%, that's just in general, increases your accuracy by 5, and it gives you 15 strength, agility, intellect. So that's your main stat. So like there are technically combat stats that can translate to PvP, but at the same time,
I don't think anyone would waste that in PvP though.
Yeah, this is basically PvE stuff. And then you have, let's see, these are like the bags for your life skill bags. And this is a cool little pet.
Ooh, that's so cute. You either want to cuddle it or punt it. So how much is this 360 rubies? Well,
360 rubies is the equivalent of like $10.
Okay.
You can buy with rubies the currency called gear currency, right? So $100 gets you 3,600 rubies, which you can then buy 36,000 gear currency.
Okay.
So gear currency you can use to buy various items, such as the Luminous system, which, like I said, is basically a gacha system. The Luminous system is like a fairy in BDO, but with combat stats. Like, it's actually worthwhile. Like, I've seen people drop a couple $1,000s to get the Luminous they want, because the way it works is you get a tier 1 Luminous. There's tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, tier 5. And then there's now a new reform stone kind of thing on the tier 5 Luminous to make it even better. But it's RNG. So there's like over 6 different versions of the Luminous. So like the symbol that you see in this like star sign or whatever, there's 6 different versions, so they have different item effects. There's actually more than 6, I believe. I think there's possibly 10 now, but then they're all the different colors: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. Yeah, what that does is that it gives you, based on the tier, it has an increased version of that item effect. It has more item effects. So at tier 4 you have 4 item effects, at tier 2 you only have 2, but then it also gives you skill points for the respective color rune system.
Let me ask this: as we go down this rabbit hole, there's going to be a lot more that people are going to be like, pay to win. But if you are an average player who plays like 2 to 3 hours a day, if you know your class very well, if you know other classes, at least in a general manner, that you know what they're capable of, and you're diligent in gearing up and getting your skill points and everything, how potent are you against like a super whale? Do you have the kill potential?
I guess technically yes, but just for Luminous system alone, the higher tier Luminous gives you more skill points on your rune system, which means less runes that you need to have for that specific color, which then translate to more runes in other slots, right? So if I want, yellow 33, 48 purple, currently it's not viable for me to be able to do that and still have like, 33 blue and like 33 green. right? But somebody who's whaled out, has the exact luminous that they want, has like the max tier version upgraded, they can then like have extra rune slots available for other spots, which gives them more advantages. So like in a way, you still get the advantages, but the kill potential is technically still there. Like if you're playing against somebody who's like okay and you're just like a whole lot better, the kill potential is there. In the beginning of the game, it's a lot less of a big difference. Like in the beginning, I broke my main hand, so I literally went to a vendor and bought a basic vendor, think like a militia main hand from BDO.
Right.
And I was using that to PvP and I was killing players. Nowadays, if I were to do that, I think I'd probably be able to do it to an extent, but it'd be a lot harder. When it was just like, you know, you didn't have players having like crazy high rune systems, crazy high item levels and stuff, it was a lot easier to do.
Right.
Nowadays, the kill potential might still be there, to be honest, but there is definitely a gap to where you might hit a point of like players just have way too much gear to where you're not doing anything to them. But there's like kind of a big gap for that. You can see players that are like max tier runes, like they have like, you know, tier 6 max runes or tier 5 max runes, to the way because they have such high tier runes and stuff, their runes have different item effects, which can include skill points. So now they have like, you know, instead of 200 or 280 skill points, they have like 383 skill points, which allows them to get a whole lot more of the really good tiers of skills. In my eyes, to me personally, having those high skill points are a lot more important and like gives you a lot more of a damage and survivability output, in my opinion. Because I mean, I'll be honest, if I was an assassin with 400 skill points, I wouldn't be afraid of like 80% of the players.
So where are you grinding for those skill points again? And is there a way that Cash Shop influences that?
Okay, so skill points come from runes.
Right.
So if you look at this rune right here, the yellow text right there shows there's 2 different item effects on it, right?
Yeah.
The first one is skill points and the second one is accuracy. It's RNG item effect on runes. You can get 12 different types of effects you can get on a rune. At tier 3, you get your first effect on the rune. So you level it to tier 3 to find out what the effect is. At tier 5, you get a second effect. And I believe at tier 7, you might get a third effect. I think it's tier 7. So the way that you can like convert real life money into in-game gold to get like the max tier runes off the marketplace, because you can buy those on the marketplace, is through that gear currency that I mentioned. There is a pretty much you can sell gear currency to other players and you can buy gear currency with in-game gold for players via the gear currency exchange. So you can swipe, spend $100. I can sell 36,000 gear currency for 11.1 million gold. And then 11.1 million gold, let's open up the marketplace. Let's just look at how much these runes cost, right? So $100 would get me, depending on the item effects that you'd want on it, right? You know, 11.1 can get me, you know, anywhere between 5 to 10 of the runes that you would need, right? For $100, which means if you were full plus 8, so you had 3 crystal slots in every piece of gear, because you get an extra crystal slot every 4 tiers. You start off with 1, and then at tier 4 you get a second one. At tier 8 you get a third. I believe tier 12 you get a fourth one. If you have 3 slots, right? So 3, 6, 9, 21 crystal slots. So let's just say you get like 7. We'll just meet in the middle. 7 per $100. You'd spend $300 to get like the runes, and that money, so like that 33 mil give or take for the $300, that can take anywhere, depending on your class, of just straight grinding, anywhere between you know, some classes make 150 to 200k gold an hour, and some classes make 500k gold an hour. Some classes, but also some players with their gear, right? So it can take anywhere between, you know, 15 to like 20, 30 hours of grinding instead of just swiping 300. So I think like the game has pay to win, but at the same time, the pay to win is kind of like this thing to where it's not necessarily guaranteed you going to win.
Right.
Against the upper echelon of players.
I mean, against we're coming from BDO, so.
Right. I think like if you're going to swipe, you're probably going to win against like the super casual players.
Yeah.
But against the upper echelon of players, you're probably not guaranteed winning at all.
That's definitely awesome. Like, regardless of the whole pay to win stuff, like, I mean, every company needs to make money, as long as it's not like gating you with money, saying unless you buy this item from the cash shop, you cannot progress. You know, I think normal players can be satisfied with that, as long as, you know, there is a way forward that doesn't require thousands of hours of grinding. So all in all, I'm excited. Yeah.
If I had one thing to say, honestly, for the devs, it's just that I wish they'd make progression through PvP more viable.
Yeah.
Because money through that is not great.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think a lot of games have that issue, but
yeah, I think that's a downside that kind of sucks, is like, especially when games are touted as like it's a PvP game.
Right.
It's very unfortunate.
Anyway, dude, this was awesome. Thanks for taking the time. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. I had fun.
Catch you around.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.